Why is it that enterprise architecture should play a role in innovation? Well, as Gene said, you are at the intersection of technology and business. You're already well respected as thought leaders around technology-based innovation, but at the same time, you're moving up the stack now and working more frequently with the business, and I think that was reflected in the data that Gene showed you. So we believe that enterprise architecture is in a unique position to help the enterprise pull the three levers of innovation around talent, environment, and process. And we refer to this as building an innovation culture. And this is really the theme of our event, and you'll see as you go through the next couple of days a number of individual sessions which will focus on specific aspects of this. So on to the innovation pipeline. Now this really helps to establish a foundation for sustainable innovation in the organization. You begin by looking at the innovation context, the assets, capabilities, and strategies that the organization has, which can be leveraged then for innovation. Around that, you build an innovation network where you bring to bear your partners, customers, and suppliers as part of your innovation process. On top of that, you establish process and funding ownership and a clear understanding of where sponsorship is available in the organization for different kinds of initiatives so that that can then be deployed and made use of for each appropriate project. And finally, of course, a defined and measurable process, which looks like this. Now, the important thing about the innovation pipeline on the left is these ideas should be able to come from anywhere, just like the Bell Canada example. You shouldn't say, no, you have to have innovation in your job title. Although I did have a really interesting interview recently with a gentleman who has the title of Innovation Architect at Norwich Insurance in the UK. And I don't have time to go into that case, except perhaps during the Q&A if there's time then. But it is appropriate, certainly, to have people with innovation in their job title, but they're not going to be the only source of innovation. Then once you have gone through the first couple of phases and you've figured out which ideas actually have a business case around them, then you build a virtual team which is composed of people from the business, people from IT, people from outside experts, vendors, consultants, etc., who work together then to carry the innovation through stages 3 and 4 in order to actually move it into implementation. And then finally, of course, the key point is that you need to measure what you're doing as you go along so that you can determine whether it was a sound investment and learn lessons from what you're doing and apply them on the next cycle through. So to succeed with your innovation pipeline, you really need to establish a mentoring program around innovation. A lot of people don't know how to innovate, and they need to really understand. Spectrum Health, for example, established a program called What If, which was used to train innovators in how to turn concepts into products. Similarly, you need to clarify exactly what is the decision process and what are the selection criteria so that people will be encouraged to contribute and not think that it's just a black box that things fall into and never come out. So Procter & Gamble, for example, established a process they call Connect and Develop, which had these kinds of clear service level agreements around if you contribute an idea, you'll hear within a specific period of time whether that idea is going to be carried forward, and if not, why not? What was the basis for that decision? Similarly, you want to promote rapid prototyping, and of course in the software domain, agile methodologies can be very helpful to create that tight connection between software creation and the business that understands what it is that's being accomplished. And here, there was a great example at AT&T where they have work centers which have well-defined business processes that are in continuous need of innovation and improvement, and they identify problems, they prototype solutions in the work center, and then once they have that solution outlined, they present that to executive management as part of a business process improvement program that they have at AT&T. Of course, you want to test things with real customers. I think the Kimberly-Clark example was an excellent example of that. But it's really only when you can measure what real customers think about your innovation they have an opportunity to understand its value. And finally, sorry, this is not quite final, but next to last point, you want to manage and mine your idea portfolio. Ideas may take a while to cook. So, for example, Toyota tried social computing technology on some of their sites, and they were not all that successful with it until they tried it on their Scion site. The Scion brand site, of course, has a target audience that's much more accepting of social computing technologies, Web 2.0, if you're not familiar with the social computing term. And this meant that if they had given up on social computing based on their initial experience, they would have missed out on that opportunity. So it's understanding when's the appropriate time and place in order to make use of these ideas. And then finally, of course, measure, monitor, and report the results. And it's by having this be a fully transparent process that you can maintain the buy-in that you need in order to continue subsequent cycles. You need to be able to show where the business value was actually achieved. So let me close by saying just don't allow yourself to be pigeonholed as a holding action or a police state. And certainly those out there in the business who are innovating today without the help of IT will sometimes make this assertion. And if you can show them to be wrong by being embracing of what it is that they're trying to accomplish and working together with them elbow to elbow as they did at Kimberly-Clark, then I think you can counter that perception. You want to get out front with the business. It's really there where these opportunities for business innovation exist. Now, that's not to say that there isn't also, of course, a business of IT, and a lot of the innovations that you'll want to drive will be focused on the business of IT, and those are very important. Yesterday, Gene was helping to facilitate a meeting of the Enterprise Architecture Council of the Forrester Leadership Boards, and one of the gentlemen there said, you need to really have innovation going on at the strategic level, the tactical level, and the operational level, and it's all three that are very important, and I think that was a great lesson learned out of that session.